Hi, Amanda. I'm here today with Amanda. I'm Jane. And today we're going to talk about some breaking news this week, which is the Harmony Montgomery case
Mhm.
out of New Hampshire,
Yep.
where her father was just charged and convicted and found guilty of her murder.
Yep.
So, this is so highly publicized right
Yeah.
now. Everybody is covering it. So we felt, why don't we cover it a little bit?
Mhm.
And we're sure that everybody in the true crime space is definitely hearing about her case.
Mhm.
This is about a little girl who went missing,
Yeah.
and a lot of people did her wrong.
Yeah.
Um, so, what I'm going to do is I found this excellent article, Amanda,
Mhm.
um, written by Michael Ruiz from Fox News. I believe it's Fox News Boston
Mhm.
or Fox News newspaper.
Yep.
And he did a timeline. And as I was reading through the timeline, I found, why don't I read through the timeline on our podcast today? Because I,
Sure.
I really think it's really good. He did an excellent job
Mhm.
um, outlining the series of events
Right.
that led up to the other day when her father was found guilty.
Yep.
So I'm going to start with July 2018. Harmony Montgomery's mother loses custody of Harmony in Massachusetts, in part to struggles with substance abuse.
Mhm.
Harmony then begins bouncing in and out of foster care. And then on February 22nd, 2019, Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, secures custody of his daughter, taking her out of a Massachusetts foster care system, according to juvenile court records from Lawrence, Massachusetts. Now, Lawrence, Massachusetts is where her mother was living.
Yep.
Around April of 2019, Harmony's biological mother, Crystal Sorey, who did not have custody of Harmony, speaks with her daughter over FaceTime for the last time.
Mm.
She later tells investigators her daughter seemed frightened during the phone call or during the call with the FaceTime.
Yeah.
On June 7th, 2019, Blair and Jonathan Miller begin fostering Harmony's younger brother, Jameson. From one night in the bedroom, Jameson asked where Harmony was going to sleep. Jonathan Miller, the foster father, told Fox digitally. July 19th, oh, August 16th, 2019, the Millers meet with Harmony's biological mother for the first time and offers to adopt Harmony if the need ever arises. They discuss Jameson's strong bond with his sister and exchanges numbers with Harmony's biological mother, remaining in regular contact ever since, following up on Harmony and giving her updates on Jameson.
Mhm.
They also frequently sought to connect the siblings over FaceTime, but each time Harmony's biological mother told them Adam Montgomery wasn't answering her. So she was getting no responses back from Adam every time she reached out to Adam.
Mhm.
That was August of 19. November of 19, the Millers legally adopt Jameson. They also reach out to Harmony's biological mother and say they want to send Harmony a Christmas gift from her little brother. But the biological mother tells them she's again unable to reach Harmony's biological father,
Yep.
Adam.
Yep.
June of 2020, around the time of Harmony's sixth birthday, Now she's going to be 6. Her biological mother tells the Millers she hasn't been able to reach Adam Montgomery or her daughter.
Mhm.
So that's June of 20. July of 20, the Millers again make clear they are willing to adopt Harmony if there is a need.
Mhm.
March of 2021, Jameson asks his adoptive parents if they can adopt Harmony. And then Jameson says, I want to call her. And the Millers quoted his Jameson as saying he also wanted the Millers to adopt Harmony.
Yeah.
Now that was March of 2021.
Mhm.
Now we go to July of 2021. Adam Montgomery allegedly shows up at his mother in law's home where his now estranged wife was sheltering with their children
Mhm.
and tapped on the window. Her boyfriend later claimed to have found a steak knife outside the same window, and the mother in law files a restraining order against Adam. On July of 2021, Harmony's biological mother tells the Millers that she finally found Adam Montgomery, but he immediately blocked her on social media. September of 2021, the Johnsons say Harmony's biological mother told them she made contact with one of the Montgomery's aunts who told her she hadn't seen Harmony since some point in 2019.
Yeah.
Harmony's biological mother afterwards reportedly saw Montgomery posting a lot of his belongings on Facebook Marketplace.
Mhm. Trying to sell stuff.
Yep. September of 2021, the Millers begin attempting to contact Adam and Kayla Montgomery over Facebook, but have no luck. Um, Blair Miller, a Washington based news anchor for Boston 25, reaches out to New Hampshire's Division of for Children, Youth, and Families. Harmony's biological mother later tells them she finally heard back from the agency. 2000 so in September of 2021, the agency gets re-involved with this.
Yep.
November of 2021, Harmony's biological mother discusses filing a missing persons report for
Mhm.
Harmony with the Millers. Then on November 18th, 2021, Manchester school officials reveal they have no records that Harmony has ever been enrolled at the school. Um, Harmony's biological mother reports Harmony missing to the Manchester Police Department. The Millers again offer to take Harmony into emergency foster care if needed.
Mhm.
So the Millers were quite involved with all this too. So
Yeah.
this is not just coming from Harmony's biological mother.
Right. Right.
The Millers have also been,
Yeah.
in this timeline all along too.
Mhm. Yep.
On December 27, 2021, New Hampshire Division of Children, Youth, and Families notifies police that it is unable to locate Harmony. That is so hard for me to read.
Yeah.
As a result, police officially open an investigation into her whereabouts and
Mhm.
discover she had not been physically seen since October or November of 2019.
19. Yeah.
She was supposed to be in her father's care the whole time.
Over 2 years.
2 years.
Over 2 years. Yep.
Just
Yeah.
disgusted. I'm
Yeah.
just disgusted. It's heart wrenching.
It really
Heart
is.
wrenching.
It is.
December 30th, 2021, Harmony's biological father, his brother, and uncle tell police they had concerns about Harmony's welfare. Kevin Montgomery, Adam Montgomery's uncle,
Mhm.
said around the time of the alleged 2019 assault he saw, Harmony with a black eye.
Yep.
So they had reported um, that Adam had assaulted Harmony.
Yep.
Um,
They reported it to DCYF.
yes.
Yep. They actually
Um,
testified in court that he actually testified in court that he saw that.
yeah. He
Yep.
told police that his nephew told him, quote unquote, he bashed her around the house
Yep.
as punishment after her little brother started crying. Now, at this time, she's 5,
Yeah.
2019.
Yep.
She's
5.
5 years old.
Yep.
He also told police he hadn't seen his nephew or Harmony since a few months after that incident. So this is a statement from the uncle,
Yep.
Kevin Montgomery. Then December 31st, 2021, Adam Montgomery's estranged wife, Kayla, tells police she last saw Harmony near the end of 2019 when her husband said he was dropping her off with her biological mother, which we know that never happened.
Right.
Police said the couple's 3 other children were all presently accounted for.
Yep.
Kayla also said she saw Harmony with the black eye in 2019 and that her husband allegedly blamed it on one of their other children.
Yeah.
Also, on December 31st, police finally find Adam Montgomery and his new girlfriend sleeping in a car in Manchester. So, Kayla, I have a major issue with her too.
Yeah. And I think that was definitely a pretty big piece of the feedback too throughout the trial, and the people that are local to New Hampshire, like especially if you followed each day, I'm sure that a lot of people actually have problems with what what her actual side of the story was, right?
Yeah.
And how essentially she really wasn't held accountable for anything.
Yeah.
But I'll let you continue with the timeline because this is great.
After police, so they found Adam and his family in the car.
Yep.
Where they were living.
Mm-hmm.
After police questioned Montgomery about Harmony's whereabouts, they alleged he gave them contradictory statements, including first claiming to have recently spoke to Harmony and then backtracking to say the last time that he claimed Harmony's biological mother picked her up around Thanksgiving 2019.
Yep.
Then he allegedly stopped answering questions and told investigators, I have nothing else to say. If I'm not under arrest, I'm leaving. The Manchester Police Department publicly declares Harmony a missing child and asked for the public's help. I remember when they went on TV for that.
Yep. Me too.
January 2nd, 2022, Manchester police visit a home where Adam and Harmony once lived. Authorities later said it had since changed hands, and the new homeowners, they were cooperating with the investigators. And then the next day, January 3rd, 2022, Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg holds a news conference asking for the public to come forward with any tips that could help find Harmony. He was wonderful. I'll tell you what, that man was so emotional.
Mm-hmm.
He announced a 24-hour police hotline, 2 local businesses, and the Manchester Crime Line offered a $12,500 reward for any information that brings Harmony home, which I think that ended up going into over $100,000 after.
Yep.
After
I think
that was announced.
Yeah, 100, and the last figure that I found was 150,000 was as high as it got.
The day after that, January 4th, 2022, police arrest Montgomery in connection with the alleged 2019 black eye and on child welfare charges. The search for Harmony is still ongoing, and then the reward increased to 33,000 and continued to climb.
Yeah.
The day after that, January 5th, Montgomery waives his bail hearing and agrees to be held in preventative detention at the Hillsborough County House of Justice. The judge granted his petition for a public defender. Okay. January 6th, Manchester police announced charges against Montgomery's estranged wife, Kayla,
Mm-hmm.
for alleged welfare fraud. She
Yep.
is accused of collecting food stamps on behalf of Harmony
Mm-hmm.
until June of 2021,
Right.
despite not having seen the child since November of 2019. And then January 12th, 2022, prosecutors announced they filed additional charges against Kayla while downgrading one count of felony welfare fraud to a misdemeanor, adding a charge of felony theft by deception.
Hmm.
Manchester police also announced that the reward for information on Harmony's whereabouts had risen to $104,000.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also had received over 300 tips in the case. And the chief had quoted, I would hope that it wouldn't take money for somebody to do the right thing, but people have different motives in their lives. So if money is one of them, then come forward with some relevant and viable information and let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we go to June 14, 2022. Investigators search an apartment formerly used by Adam and Kayla in Manchester. They are seen carrying out evidence, including an entire refrigerator, and searching around a manhole cover outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I will let you take over now.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. And now back to our episode. Because I found another timeline
Amanda.
too. Thank you, Jane. Yes, I found another timeline too. And while that Fox timeline was fantastic, right? And pretty detailed too. The timeline that I found was on CBS. And obviously, we'll make sure and link this in the show notes so anybody and everybody can actually read these articles for themselves too. But so then the next event on the timeline that I found was August 11th of 2022. The New Hampshire Attorney General actually announces that Harmony was murdered in 2019 based on recently confirmed biological evidence. And that's a direct quote from their press release.
I'm going to guess it was something they got out of the refrigerator.
And I'm going to guess and assume that you were right, Jane. I'm sure it was. It had to have been just based off of the timeline, right? They wouldn't have said recently confirmed biological evidence if that wasn't the case.
Mhm.
Oh, poor girl. And then we move to October 24th of 2022. Adam Montgomery is officially charged with Harmony's murder. November 18th of 2022, Harmony Montgomery's, so her stepmother, Kayla, the estranged, ex-wife Kayla, she is actually sentenced to at least 1.5 years in prison after pleading guilty to perjury. Right. So we got all this welfare fraud, perjury, all this. And again, throughout the trial, if you followed the trial, her character comes into question a lot, right? What she says, what she doesn't, what she takes back, what she recants. So technically, November 18th of 2022, yes, she's charged to 1.5 years. August 7th of 2023. So now jumping almost an entire full year. Adam Montgomery is actually sentenced to up to 60 years in prison for gun convictions completely unrelated to his daughter's death. Right. Okay. So he's already charged with Harmony's murder. And then, obviously, while he's being investigated for everything else as well, just on weapons charges, 60 years. Okay. Well, at least we know he's in prison.
Yep.
February 8th of 2024 is when the actual trial starts, right? And that is the first day of Harmony's murder trial. And on that day, I remember seeing even Bob Ward from Boston 25. I remember he was actually there covering it and actually live tweeting and everything like that. I guess some of the details were just so gruesome and shocking.
I could not. I started reading some of the details and I couldn't continue reading them.
Yeah.
And we're really not going to share them on here
No,
because
there's no
they
need.
are so gruesome.
There's no need.
What
Yep.
this little girl endured, no human being in this world should ever have to endure.
Hmm.
Like, it was bad.
Yep. And after that first day,
It's bad.
too, Adam Montgomery chose to not show up in court. He didn't even show up on the day of the verdict either. But on
No,
that first day, and during all of this, shocking and gruesome details that came to light about Harmony's death, he was caught a couple of times in photographs just so nonchalant and even smiling.
smirking.
Yep. I saw all
Yep.
those pictures, as I'm sure everyone else did too.
Yeah.
So then we come to February 22nd of 2024 when Adam Montgomery is actually convicted of second-degree murder in the death of his daughter, Harmony, back in 2019. Now, when the trial started, he was charged with the second-degree murder of Harmony, and he was also charged with 4 other counts: second-degree assault, falsifying physical evidence, abuse of a corpse, and witness tampering. Now, mind you, all of these, obviously, the second degree murder is the most significant charge there, right? But all of these are very significant and serious charges as well. When
Mm.
he entered court, he actually only pled not guilty to the second degree murder charge, but pled guilty to all the rest, just to put that out there. And that's where my timeline ends.
I, from being from New Hampshire, um, Harmony's case was everywhere. Harmony was everywhere. Her
Yep.
face was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Every night you turned on the news, they talked about Harmony. I sat and watched so many news briefs that the chief of police gave, that he gave with tears in his eyes. This man held back so many tears, and just listening to him speak and everything about all of this, like everything about Harmony. I can't count how many tears I freaking cried about all this and for her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, again, being a native, New Hampshire native, and
Mm-hmm.
this happening in New Hampshire, it was so heart wrenching. And it just, if you did not feel an ounce of sympathy for this little girl, you are not human,
Mm-hmm.
because so many people failed this little girl.
Yeah.
Um, I know I also read another article quoting the chief after he was found guilty. Um, the chief went on, or he was interviewed, and he is quoted as saying, um, "This is Chief Alan Aldenberg
Mm-hmm.
from the Manchester Police Department." Quote unquote, "There has been some failures here, and those failures were not on the part of the Manchester Police Department. I will stand by that to the end of my career and beyond." The failures he's talking about are in the state agencies who were tasked with caring for Harmony,
Mm-hmm.
specifically Massachusetts Department of Children and Families and New Hampshire's Division for Children, Youth, and Families.
Yep.
These two agencies failed her
Mm-hmm.
so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, you got to question how many other children out there are they failing? How many other children out there have they failed
Mm-hmm.
and continue to fail today? Um, yes, they are. They are. Their workloads are sometimes
Mm-hmm.
loaded,
Yep.
and they have a lot that they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, this mother for 2 years went to them and said, "I can't find my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Where is my daughter?" And and all this time she was already in the system. So they should have been on top of trying to find her.
And you know, Jane, a little bit of a tidbit that I actually watched a really good episode on Court TV. Do you remember Vinny Politan? You met him at Crime
Yes,
Con. He was at Crime
yes.
Con, so same guy. Court TV. They actually did a really great. We'll make sure and link it in the show notes. They actually did a really great summary. Like it was like a actually like a 45-minute like summary, right after the verdict came out and everything. And right at the beginning of the summary of sort of like what had happened to Harmony, this was something that I hadn't actually been able to find in any other articles, but I know that there's a lot of information out there. They summarized that like Harmony's biological mom actually ended up losing custody of her because she missed a court date because she was in another court hearing at the same time related to another one of her children. And her lawyer and the judge failed to see that connection and failed to actually like it almost sounded like it was a technicality at this point. And don't get me wrong, I
Yeah.
understand that that they were both, forthcoming. There's a history of drug use and there's a history of, but Harmony wouldn't even have actually been in that situation with Adam had that not specific miss had occurred,
Well,
Yeah.
well, I also read another article here, and it said in February 2019, a Massachusetts judge granted Adam Montgomery custody of Harmony,
Hmm.
meaning she would move to New Hampshire and any Massachusetts DCF oversight would be severed. When a Massachusetts judge decided that Adam was a fit parent to take custody of Harmony, that sealed her fate. That was the most important moment in this child's life, that judge.
Yeah. Wow. And to not go into detail, because I mean, obviously, we won't go into the gruesome details because it's not worth it. But the night that Harmony lost her life was because she was beaten to death by Adam, her father, because she had an accident in the car where they were living.
Yeah.
And after that, this actually occurred, he proceeded to drive to Burger King and eat and do drugs.
Yeah.
So I mean, whether you actually believe it or not, this is actually, what was presented in court and what he was actually found guilty on. The majority of that of those details was presented by Kayla because she was present and actually there and actually witnessed it.
Yeah. She
It
recanted a lot of information and
right.
then started coming out with the truth of
Yep.
what actually occurred
Yep.
in that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people have who is actually responsible. Adam Montgomery's defense actually ended up saying, like, the reason why we're coming in here and pleading guilty to these pieces is because he was there, but he wasn't the person responsible. His defense was that Kayla was the one that was responsible for the
Yeah.
actual murder.
Yeah. Of course.
But yeah.
All
So,
right. Definition. True definition of a freaking monster.
mm,
Adam Montgomery.
yeah.
Adam Montgomery.
Yeah.
But he's going to be spending the rest of his life in jail, right where he
Absolutely.
belongs.
Yep.
I hope it's he's young, so he's got a long time to spend in there.
Mhm.
And I hope that they're not so nice to him.
Me too. You also got to give the hats off to the prosecutors in
Oh,
this
yeah.
case, though. I honestly,
You
you have to.
know,
47 witnesses. They called a total of 47 witnesses,
mhm,
and that's how they actually ended up getting that conviction. The defense had zero,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there's no, Harmony's body has not been found. So,
Yeah, so they were able to convict him for murdering her
mhm.
with no body.
Mhm.
And he was found guilty.
Yep.
Um, boy, I wish that they could, as much as I'm thankful that they put this much time and effort into Harmony's case.
Right.
And let's not forget, Harmony's still missing.
Right.
And as far as I heard, um, I read somewhere online. Um, Now, this is Saturday after he was convicted.
Hmm.
This is the recording Saturday after he was convicted.
Yep.
Friday, he was convicted on Thursday,
Yes.
found guilty.
22nd. Yes. Thursday.
So
Thursday, the conviction came
Thursday
down.
is
Yep.
found guilty.
Yep.
Friday, they were actually out searching another piece of property,
Hmm.
looking for Harmony.
Yep.
So they're still looking for her.
Hmm.
They're still searching for her.
Yep.
I'm grateful that they put this much time and effort into Harmony's case,
Hmm.
and they did a fantastic job.
Hmm.
Like you said, they ended up getting a guilty verdict.
Hmm.
This guy is in jail for the rest of his life, this monster.
Yep.
But it proves to me that
Mhm.
they can get a conviction without a body.
They absolutely
So,
can.
what about Trish Haynes? When does Trish
Yes.
Haynes get her justice?
Hmm.
And I just I hope that maybe the prosecutors will see, okay, we were able to convict and
Hmm.
get a guilty verdict with no body.
Hmm.
They have a body with Trish's. They had some remains.
Summer kids. Yeah.
Why can't they get a guilty verdict with her case?
Yeah.
I hope that after this, maybe they can look into Trish's more
Hmm. Yes.
and try to figure out how they can possibly get
Right.
um, press charges.
If anything, the due diligence and what they did. I mean, this was a well crafted trial. It really
Yeah,
was.
it
Um,
really was.
and
Yeah,
you know what? If anything, it showcases that that is possible. I mean, Adam himself was even there was even somebody, one of the 47 witnesses, even quoted Adam was saying, "If there's no body, they can't get me." Right.
yeah,
Um, and well, I guess you know what, Adam? They did.
yeah. You're wrong. You're
You're
wrong.
wrong.
They got you, Adam. They got you.
Exactly. And just to
You
add a little bit
piece
of
of
detail,
shit.
because of the details surrounding where it is, where it's known about Harmony's disposal. Just because people are still, obviously searching for her body, they want to be able to actually find those remains so her family can make sure and properly put her to rest.
Yeah,
Adam Montgomery rented a U-Haul March 3rd through 4th in 2020. And based off of toll footage over the Tobin Bridge, they're able to calculate and find that essentially in the Rumney, Marsh, Chelsea Sea or Chelsea Creek and Sales Creek area is where he actually traveled. They actually spent a lot of
yeah,
time like dissecting the amount of miles because he would have been traveling over the Tobin Bridge from Manchester, right? And so they know how many
yeah,
miles were left. They know basically his trajectory. So those locations is where the majority of all of the searching is still occurring.
yeah,
Um, and again, if anybody knows anything, saw anything, or has any sort of information, that is where the searches are occurring. And please contact authorities because obviously, even though we have a verdict, um, we want
we still don't have Harmony.
exactly we want her to be laid to rest
We want
properly.
absolutely. And the monster. I mean, okay, you've been found guilty. You're her father. Give her this.
Right.
Tell them where she is. Give her this.
Hmm.
You owe this to her to have a proper burial
Hmm.
and a place to rest
Hmm.
and a place where people that loved her can go visit her.
Right.
You know, Adam, give her this. She deserves this.
Yeah.
You owe this to her. You owe this to her. So, yes, we wanted to do a short little brief uh, episode
Mhm.
on Harmony's case, and so
Big
happy
news in
to
our
announce
state.
that he was found guilty.
Mhm.
It went viral the second he was found guilty.
Mhm.
It went viral worldwide.
It really did.
I don't know of a news station or a podcast that has not covered this.
Mhm.
Um, so we decided to cover it. And please remember, Harmony's still not found. So if you do have information, come forward. Um, with that, rest in peace, little girl.
Mhm.
You deserved better. Just look at that face, and it's like,
I know.
it's heartbreaking.
It is.
Well, thank you, Amanda, for doing this with me.
Of course, Jane. Of course.
I have to go.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Invisible Tears. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast to hear all future episodes. Click into our link tree too in the episode description to find and follow us on all our social medias. And it also links to our website, invisible-tears.com, where you can keep current on any events that may be coming up, read more about Jane and the team, and read more about all the Connecticut River Valley unsolved cases. If you want to learn more about my wellness practice, Guided Path Wellness, head to guidedpathwellness.org. There you can read more about me and my certifications, more about the Reiki and coaching services I offer both in person and remote, and read all about my products for sale that I make through the practice. Feel free to utilize the Contact Us section on the website with any questions, or utilize that free 15-minute consultation booking button if you have any questions about what might work for you. Evil may exist in this world, but we will not let it win. See you next episode.